Well, this was interesting. So, yeah, this is The Mouse and His Child. So, this is based on a novel by Russell Hoban. Am I pronouncing it right? So, I don't know a whole lot about this man's work, but I know he has his fans, and there's I guess this movie does cover a lot of the deeper topics of his of the book this is based on. Let's see, but yeah, I hear it's not entirely, or they kind of sugarcoat the story a little bit to, yeah, make it a little more family friendly, although there's still quite a few dark moments in this one, which I'll get to in a little bit. But, so anyway, I want to take this moment to talk about the directors of the movie. So, yeah, we have Charles Swenson and Fred Wolf. So, let's see. Both of them have worked on some various cartoon series, including Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They both worked on that movie. In fact, Fred Wolf was a producer for a season, I do believe. Or 2 seasons, it seems. Let's see. What else? I guess, yeah, it looks like Charles Swenson also worked on, like, a couple Nickelodeon shows, Rugrats and Not Real Monsters. Let's see. But, yeah, I guess, the main things I would like to point out are their previous, animated films. So, first of all, both of them worked on The Point, which, it was a made-for-TV animated film, so that's why I didn't cover it before, because made-for-TV doesn't qualify for the series. But I did watch it not too long ago, pretty much while I was covering movies from '71, which was the year it was made, because, I did want to... Or I saw it once when I was a kid in, like, 3rd grade or something, and I wanted to watch it again. But it was, yeah, the thing about that movie was that it seemed to have a pretty important message, and, they find many ways to express the message, and, it's got an interesting, stylish animation style, but, it's also pretty confusing to follow, and, you're not sure where exactly they should be going much of the time, or what they're trying to say exactly. And yeah, that's pretty much exactly what I got from this movie. But also, both of these artists worked on Down and Dirty Duck. In fact, Charles Swenson was the director of that movie. I'm not sure if I brought him up in that video, but yeah, he was the man in charge of that movie, and Fred Wolf worked on it as well. But yeah, that movie was pretty damn confusing as well, and really weird, and you have no idea where it's going. It had an interesting animation style. You can kind of tell it's from the same guys who did The Point. This movie, they do up the animation a fair amount, but yeah, the main similarity between this movie, The Point, and Down and Dirty Duck is that they're all really weird and kind of trippy at times. Well, in Down and Dirty Duck's case, really trippy all the time. But also, I do believe the duck from that movie actually makes a cameo or two in this movie. He's like a toy, stuffed duck, and I guess... when the little kiddies watch the movie, they'll be like, oh, look, it's Donald Duck. And, adults who have seen Down and Dirty Duck will look at him and and they'll be like, "Oh, it's the duck from Down and Dirty Duck," because yeah, you can tell from the animation style. At first I thought it was a coincidence, but after seeing who was behind this movie, I'm like, oh, it's a cameo. Um, but anyway, yeah, I just wanted to talk a little about the guys behind this film. But yeah, on to the main plot line. We have this wind-up father and son mouse duo who's like, yeah, it's like a toy of a father mouse kind of playing with his son, like flipping, or, lifting him in the air and kind of, flipping him around a bit. Maybe not in a super harmful way, but that it's something that parents do with their children all the time, that stuff. But anyway, so they're a new toy that just arrived at this toy shop. And all the toys there greet them, but, they also hear about pretty much what their fate's going to be. Like, they'll be bought by some parent for a child or something, and then the child will play with them for a little while and then get bored with them and throw them away. So, yeah, I should mention this is another movie about, toys coming to life when people aren't looking. The same year that the Raggedy Ann and Andy movie came out, so yeah, that's two movies in the same year that take place in the same universe as Toy Story. Nah, I'm kidding. I mean, Toy Story doesn't have the Greedy and all those other weird characters in the Raggedy Ann and Andy movie. This one, we got talking rats and other animals. Yeah, pretty sure there's no talking animals in Toy Story, but okay, well, anyway, I'm getting off topic. I mean, I'm going off on a tangent. Anyway, so, they hear about the dark fate of toys. They get thrown away, and, they have to fend for themselves in a dark, twisted world, blah, blah, blah. So, this is already quite a bit darker than Toy Story got. But yeah, the child mouse panics and they end up falling out a window, and they're in a trash can, and then they wander around for a bit until this they wander around the streets for a bit until this rat voiced by Peter Ustinov, so the same guy who voiced Prince John in Robin Hood. Yeah, he finds them, and then he basically makes them his slaves, and we see all these other toys that have been slaves of his for a while, and they're all broken down, and it's really dark and depressing. So yeah, that's an example how dark it gets. I don't think even Toy Story ever went that far. Oh, but it gets worse later, so yeah, bear with me. So yeah, they manage to escape, or I guess he sends them to fetch, what was it, Treacle Brittle, yeah. Yeah, and they follow one of his servant rats around, to the tree where they sell that stuff, and the henchman tries to steal the treacle brittle and some what was it, a giant a mole or I forget what it was, but it ate the henchman. So yeah, now the father and son mouse escape. Oh, along with this psychic fortune-telling frog voiced by Andy Devine, who was the voice of Friar Tuck from Robin Hood, and yes, he does interact a bit with Manny the Rat, the Peter Ustinov character. So that's a little. I can't name any scenes where Prince John and Friar Tuck interacted with each other in Robin Hood, but still, it's interesting to hear both their voices in two different movies. So yeah. Um, so yeah, they head out. It is also worth noting that while they were in the toy shop, they befriended this elephant, voiced by Joan Gerber. I think she's a voice actor mainly, and a seal voiced by Sally Kellerman. Yeah, pretty big actress who I know next to nothing about. Um, I'm sure if I looked up some of her work, I'd probably know what else she did. Well, anyway, yeah, so they head out to look for them, or they try to head back to the toy shop so that they can, or the child mouse wants to be, he says he wants the elephant to be his mom and the seal to be his sister, basically. Um, but yeah, it's hard to say what they're really looking for. They just kind of decide they want to find somebody who can help them find or just help them find a home for one thing, and also the father wants them to remove the key from his back and make them self-winding toys because they don't like it's kind of a story about gaining one's free will, and there are some themes that I can really admire, especially nowadays with all sorts of stuff I'm going through. But it's about kind of like gaining one's own independence and self or just looking out for oneself instead of having to robotically do what you have to do, because that's kind of something they talk about at the beginning. Instead of having to follow directions from somebody else, you gain your own little self-winding is the phrase they use in this movie, and they want the key removed so that they can become self-winding, if you will, and I guess also have their hands separated. They look around for a bit. They happen across they happen across this parrot lady voiced by Cloris Leachman. And she's like an actress, and she's in some theater troupe. And I don't know, Manny the rat crashes the play they put on, and what's her name? Euterpe, the parrot lady. She helps them escape, and she takes them to this muskrat voiced by Bob Holt. So yeah, this is like this is just some months after he did what was the Ralph Bakshi movie again? Wizards, sorry. Yeah. Right, after he played the main character of that movie, he does come back he's back in this one, yeah. They try to ask him if he can, adjust them so that they can be, separate and self-winding again, and, he seems to be very absent-minded, and he, constantly thinks in, crazy mathematics, he uses all sorts of stuff for, weird algebra equations, an object or characters. He comes up with some crazy idea along the way, and I guess this is out of ignorance for the harm it's doing to the father and son mice that he sets up this axe connected to a spring, and he makes the mice use it, and it slowly cuts through a tree. yeah, I'm not sure what exactly he was trying to do, but either way, he does make them slaves, and he doesn't seem to realize how cruel he's being. So yeah. So yeah, because of this, it goes on for like months, seemingly, and yeah, the father mouse at least like really starts to wear down, and I don't know. It's like a whole bunch of shenanigans that. Well, I guess after that, Manny the rat manages to catch up with them, and oh yeah, and they also manage to meet the seal again, and yeah. But yeah, Manny the rat has taken the elephant and he turned her into his slave, and by the time they meet her again, she's all broken down, and then we get, yeah, if that's not dark enough, he then proceeds to beat the father and son mice until they're, or yeah, he smashes them to pieces basically. So yeah, they're a bunch of little, yeah, little cogs and yeah, just pieces all over the ground. So yeah, that's not, yeah, that's surely not going to traumatize anybody. So yeah, then they get the muskrat to put them back together, and along the way he manages to make it so they are self-winding, and they're separated finally, and finally they can move of their own free will, and yeah, and then they go and save the elephant from the rat, and they defeat him, and then I guess the father mouse marries the elephant because, the child mouse wanted the elephant to be his mother, I guess. But, yeah, I guess that's the gist of the story. I can't really make out every little thing that happens because, yeah, there's all sorts of confusing stuff. I think there are some details that I didn't bring up, but yeah, this movie's really confusing, but I realize that there is a really good message in it, and yeah, it's one that I can really relate to. But yeah, this, at the very least, this was a very ambitious movie. It was again, like these guys' other works. It's got a stylish animation style, and it is a pretty nice step up. Like, The Point and Duck, or Down and Dirty Duck, they're interestingly animated, but, they're pretty simple looking. This one does up the designs and everything. Everything looks, nicer. I mean, yeah, it's definitely not at Disney level as usual, but, well, the movie itself, to be fair, is, like, much darker than your average Disney movie. I don't think Disney would ever try a lot of the things they do in here, but, it goes into some interesting existential themes, and, yeah, but, yeah, it's hard to follow. I think there is a lot of cryptic dialogue in there, and, yeah, a lot of the things that happen, you don't know what the point is, or at least I didn't. But yeah, at the very least, there are quite a few things that I can admire out of this movie. They do take risks. They, it can get pretty touching at times. Yeah, I guess I do like this movie. It's just strange and confusing, and yeah, I guess if it were a little more straightforward and easier to follow, I would consider it like one of the best movies I've covered in this decade so far, but yeah, as it is, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. Let's see. And, yeah, trying to think if there's anything else I feel I need to add. I can't think of anything that's that important. Maybe the fact that there's another theater troupe in this, and it made me think of that theater character voiced by what's his name, John Carradine, and what was it, Shinbone Alley, and well, John Carradine is actually in this movie, and he voices like this homeless guy who has like 2 lines, like very brief lines that are like each 2 or 3 words or something. But anyway, yeah, if there's anything else I feel I need to add, I'll put it in the comments as usual. So, in terms of recommendation, yeah, I'd say this is worth recommending. I'd just say, just keep in mind everything I've been talking about, and, decide for yourself. So, how long have I been talking? Over 20 minutes now, so, yeah. Interesting movie. I like it. It's just, a little strange, so yeah, I guess I'll just leave it at that for now. Mash it and smash it, signing off.